All right. Good morning from Trilith. We are at our new location, Rome Workspace at Trilith, the town at Trilith. I could pick up my computer and show you out the window, but across the street here is Trilith Studios, well known for its Marvel productions. Highest grossing film in history, I think, is Spider-Man No Way Home, filmed right across the street. Pretty amazing. And over here on this side of Veterans Parkway is the town at Trilith. And in back of the computer here is the Barley Garden restaurant. Over there is the Wellness Center, all award-winning restaurants and gyms. And it's just an incredible place to be. We're really excited to be here. And we are just early, but I figured I'd get the live stream going, and anybody who happens to get notified can tune in and sit here patiently with me. So I'm going to wait for our presenters to arrive and our community to arrive, and I'll see you back here in a few minutes.
Good morning.
Good morning. Hey, Miriam, how are you this morning?
I'm doing good this morning and happy to be able to say that. This starts at 8 a.m. or 8:30?
8 o'clock.
Okay.
We are at a brand new location. So this this whole entire town that this building is in is really pretty new. So our community that was part of that came coming over here from the other city, Peachtree City, they just may not exactly know where to go. So it's a bigger place. We have some people downstairs greeting people as they walk in and walking them up and telling them that they can get their free coffee from the coffee bar downstairs. So we're probably going to run behind by a few minutes today just to give everybody a chance to show up. I do know there are, so we'll just have to be a little patient.
Okay, cool. Well,
Just,
I am here.
And where are you physically?
I'm in Miami, Florida.
Oh, nice. Awesome. My my mom grew up in North Miami Beach, and I spent a lot of time there myself growing
Okay.
up.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's like an hour from Miami itself, but I do come down that way pretty often. My dad still lives up in Boca. I've got an uncle in Hollywood, so.
Yeah.
Are you
Well,
in
let me
Miami?
know when you're in town because if you're down here, we could have a coffee, have a
Yeah.
cafecito.
That sounds great. That sounds great.
So you're on the organizing committee for the Atlanta chapter?
Yeah, so the history of, this chapter is specifically called Atlanta South because there was an Atlanta chapter who decided they didn't want to do this anymore. So we have been in existence, I guess, for about 5 or 6 years. We started off in Newnan at a co-working space, and for whatever reason, the owner of that space decided that he thought it would do better if it was transferred up to Peachtree City, which is the next town further like northeast. And then we were at a co-working space there, and that owner decided that he needed to diversify. So he's opening another location, and it's just a little too preoccupied to manage this. So now we are here at Rome, which is another workspace, but it's in the town of Trillith, which is across the street from Trillith Studios, which I can see from here. And in case you're not familiar, Trillith Studios is the second largest production movie studio in the country. All of Marvel's films are filmed there, including Spider-Man No Way Home, which if you haven't seen yet, takes place in New York, but it all was filmed right here across the street. Pretty incredible. So this building that I'm in is filled with creative people who are actually much less involved in the movie industry than you would think, given where we're literally sitting in proximity to the studios, but amazingly creative people nonetheless. So I've been really pushing hard to promote this event to people in this building, outside our community. We have our regulars who are gonna have to come up here from Peachtree City. So I know that this will build into a bigger, a bigger community of One Million Cups. But today's our first one of the year, first one at a new location. I hope that more people show up. We are live on Facebook, and that will be recorded and shared with our community. So certainly your reach will be greater than just me in the room today. And I do encourage you to visit the Facebook live video because a lot of people will leave comments in the future that will be addressed to you, obviously, right? I don't remember, is it you? I think it is. I think it's you that I couldn't find on LinkedIn to tag you on there, or like any social channels. Basically, I think I had trouble finding your account to tag you on.
Really? Well, that's a SEO problem.
Right.
Whoa.
I can't say I Googled it, but I definitely searched within LinkedIn and searched within Facebook.
You searched for Miriam Dorset?
QUOKA.
Oh, you searched for QUOKA. Okay. Yeah, QUOKA we have on TikTok.
Cool.
Instagram, Twitter.
Okay, so not LinkedIn or Facebook, which is the only two places I personally look for you.
Correct.
You know, so I realized I didn't really answer your question. So technically speaking, I am the only volunteer at the moment. I own a company called Jason Hunter Design, and I have people who work for me who are helping me with all of this, promoting. There's one of them right now.
Yeah.
So all of the
Oh,
social
oh
media.
yeah, I chatted with her on the email.
Yeah, so Amanda would have been the one that you would have communicated with. Jadia would be the one who's posting on all of our social media. So
Yeah.
I've been taking her posts and sharing them to different places. And that's when I for you and I didn't find you. But Jadia, I think, has done a good job of tagging you on Instagram at least. We don't do so much on Twitter right now, but
Well, thank you. I mean, I appreciate it. And I am an organizer for 1 Million Cups Miami chapter, and in a very similar boat right now. We lost a lot of our organizers over the pandemic. And right now I do feel like I'm flying a little bit solo, which is very not fun because it's supposed to be a group effort.
yeah.
So
Exactly.
I appreciate any little thing you can do. Like, it's totally fine. I've gotten so much from presenting at these calls. I tell you, like, it's just so good for a founder to be able to tell the story over and over and over again, really hone in on, everything. And as I've done more of them, I start to understand what exactly I'm doing more. I'm like, what am I even doing? So it's
Yeah.
been really
Well, I
good.
mentioned I have a company called Jason Hunter Design, but I'm also, well, that was an entrepreneurial venture of my own 20 years ago. But now I continuously start up little small businesses, and I started an app called Brewery Hours. And I've been on the 1 Million Cups circuit presenting brewery hours over the course of the last few years. And
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you how many renditions of the app have come from sessions at 1 Million Cups where people just gave me such incredible ideas that I had to go back to the drawing board to reconsider how I was doing things or how I was thinking about things. And the value of that is, I can't even measure it. It's incredible.
Yeah.
So to be an organizer at 1 Million Cups is just, I mean, it's incredibly rewarding. And I just, I love being a part of this organization in whatever way I can. So as I mentioned, this is our first meeting here at this location, and obviously the first one of the year, first one as me on my own. And my goal is to get some of the people who come in and experience it, who enjoy it, to then join the organizing committee and then grow this large. I mean, this room that we're in right now is only set up to handle 12 people, but we could add a lot more seats. And then we have 2 training rooms on the other side of this floor that are much, much bigger. So, I mean, I would love to grow into those spaces, but the word's got to get out about what a great program it is. And I'm only one voice, right? So,
Yeah.
any tips that you guys are doing down in Miami, I'd love to compare notes. We'll definitely have to connect.
Yeah. We can definitely keep in touch. What is the brewery thing that you're working on? Sounds fun.
So, yeah, thank you. I hope so. It's called Brewery Hours, and just like the name sounds, it's for helping people like you and me find local craft breweries based on the times the breweries are open and the features that they offer. So imagine that you are planning a trip up to Atlanta on this weekend, and you want to meet a friend at a brewery in Midtown on Friday at 4 o'clock. And it's important that it's dog friendly because your friend has to bring their dog with them. And you know, getting there at 4, so you're most likely going to need some food. So you want to know that they are either serving food, allow you to bring in food, or have a food truck, something of that nature, right? So you open up Brewery Hours, you search at the Atlanta area, you look on the map in the Midtown area, you see that there's 5 breweries, and you can further filter that list by all the criteria that I mentioned. From a brewery's perspective, they get to send push notifications to anybody who follows them. So it's a great marketing tool. And then there's this entire other component of it where
well, actually, let me just say that it's free for the breweries to claim their listings and update all of their information and their hours. All of that stuff is really important for me. So I want them to claim and do that, and I don't charge them at all. As of now, I've got 2 pricing levels that offer features like push notifications. But the other most valuable feature that I see is that we as brewery hours can act as really any business's definitive source of that information. Their name, their address, phone number, their website, their hours, all of that. Whatever they put into brewery hours, we can push out to literally the rest of the internet. So we can update their website for them automatically through a snippet of code that we put on their site. We can update their Google My Business. We can update their Yelp listing, their Yahoo. There's over 150 different publishers out there that have any given business's information, and we can update all of that in one shot if they put it into brewery hours.
Yeah.
So, like, that's a long-winded explanation of what it does, which is why I'm having a hard time really getting people to adapt to it. But getting into 1 Million Cups chapters and really sharing what it is, that is what's been working the best. So.
Yeah.
Hey. Thank you so much. Can I grab you a picture?
I'm good for right now.
I'm John, by the way. Josh. Nice to meet you, John.
Thanks, Josh. So, Johnny, I think you signed on. Want to say hello?
Heck yeah. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Oh my gosh, Johnny Crowder.
I was hiding behind the brain.
Look at your sneaker collection. That looks very significant.
I always tell people I'm a big functional art nerd. So typically that's architecture, fashion, and cars, like any type of art that you can interact with. So sneakers are definitely a part of that.
That's awesome.
I love
that
it.
you guys know each other. I would say, curated today's meeting with the 2 of you, because what you do is similar and yet separate, right? I mean, it's different audiences, different purposes, I feel like, but what you do at your core is really similar. And I thought this would be a really great introduction of the 2 of you, but of course you've already met, so that's awesome.
Well, this is our first time meeting, kind of like we've only communicated through talking. Johnny, are you presenting today too?
Heck yeah.
This is awesome. How cool. I love that. You're Jason making little like matches.
Yeah, I mean, we only
That's
meet
the mark of a good organizer.
I know, not bad for flying solo. Like,
well, I have to give credit to Amanda too. She and I are really handling things on the back end, but she's my communications person, and that's been tremendous help. So I know she's hiding behind her camera right now. I'm sure it's early for her to pop on, but if she can hear me, I appreciate you.
I'm here. Thank you.
First guest of the morning. I am wondering if people do think that it's 8:30, because in addition to switching locations and literal towns, we also moved it up to 8 o'clock. So I hope that that's part of the issue as well.
The door is also locked when I got here.
Really?
Yeah.
There's people at the bar, right?
Yeah,
Coffee bar.
they unlock it. But apparently the auto unlock opens to 8.
I hear footsteps. Maybe more people are joining. Johnny, I don't know when you signed on exactly, but I was just explaining that we shifted locations and lost organizers, but we are rebuilding in this amazing location. Not only is the space we're in amazing, but the town that we're in is across the street from, I don't call it the old name, but Trilith Studios, which is the 2nd largest production studio in the United States. All of the Marvel films are filmed there. So there's constantly creatives buzzing around this place. And it's a really exciting place to be. And I definitely think that 1 Million Cups is going to thrive here. It's just first one of the year, first one at this new location. So I am counting on our regulars to show up. John, you're not even a regular, because you really did.
No. Well, it's so early in the morning.
Yeah. You have kids. It's not
You made it earlier, and you made it. Oh, dang it. And you made it farther. So I mean, how can you argue that you get a hot chocolate croissant delivered to you? You guys are missing out.
And fresh coffee.
one of the things that we did in Miami is we pushed it to later. So
I love that. Unfortunately, this space, I mean, it's public information. Like this room would normally cost $700 to rent. So I need to make it at a time when it's not going to be rented by other people. And
Yeah.
officially, it doesn't open. Well, actually 8 o'clock. So they're really nice to give me the room at a time somebody could potentially be renting it. But yeah, it's way outside of, as you guys, you know, Miriam, as you know, 1 Million Cups doesn't have a budget for this stuff. So it's definitely
Right.
not possible to just, you know, request a different time and a different room. I've got to work within what they made
Right.
available. So moving it up to 8 was sort of a compromise.
Yeah, totally. Well, I'm ready to go whenever you guys are. So, you know, it's not about drawing a huge cut from or anything like that. Like I'm elated that Johnny's even here because I get to see him present too. So that's exciting for me.
Awesome. Well, I thought my remote mouse would reach, but I'm not seeing my cursor on the screen. So I can't see my cursor on the screen here either. That's weird.
We can see your face now. You got close.
Where's the cursor? It's not showing up. And the escape button's not working. Oh, this is awesome. Okay, there it is. That's really weird.
Johnny, how was your holiday?
These are what?
It was, so I'm in the middle of a move. I know it doesn't look like it because I put the office stuff up as soon as I got in, but I'm still like furniture shopping and trying to make it feel like someone lives here. So half of it was with family and the other half was like sorting through furniture, like rooms to go catalogs, trying to find dining tables and stuff. So it was kind of split. How about you?
Mine was very low key. I actually just got back to Miami after traveling for like 6 months, and my house was in disarray. Like I'm very sensitive to my environment. Like everything should have it like its place. And so I'm like, let's paint everything, like strip down the walls, wash them. Like I'm just starting over and doing my whole garden over. So I've just been heads down, and I didn't go and see family because I was just with all my family, and we had a family reunion in early December. So I was home just doing home projects.
That sounds great. I had a full house for like 3 weeks, and my parents are coming this weekend, so it's still not even over yet.
Nice. Well, I already missed my mom. I was texting her. Where did you move from, Johnny? Or are you moving somewhere?
Just from Tampa. So Tampa to Clearwater. It doesn't seem like a big move, but logistically, it has felt like one.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. That's the place across the bridge, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Come down there. I'm not familiar with that area.
Come on. I'm trying to go to Atlanta next month.
Oh, nice. Well, definitely let's connect. Let me just jump in and sort of do an introduction. I actually had I had scheduled you in my head in reverse, so might fumble through my little intro here. But for those of the people who are watching on Facebook Live, for anybody who's watching the recorded video later, for those who aren't familiar, 1 Million Cups is a weekly event started by the Kaufman Foundation and is currently held in more than 160 communities across the nation, with the goal of caffeinating entrepreneurs nationwide every Wednesday. And every Wednesday, those communities meet to give each other support, encouragement, and feedback over a cup of coffee. Here at Rome, in the town at Trilith, we'll meet on the first Wednesday of every month, and 1 or 2 early stage startups will present their companies to a diverse audience of their peers, mentors, educators, and advisors. I laugh because obviously there's only 2 of us in the room today, but we are going to be growing, I promise. Before we get started, though, I do need to just acknowledge our community sponsors, Rome for providing the beautiful space, and Jason Hunter Design, my company, for volunteering their time and resources to organize and promote the event, and for the coffee and pastries. You're welcome, John. Our first slot this morning with 6 minutes to present will be Miriam Dorset, who will be presenting QUOKA, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, an anonymous text messaging club for promoting entrepreneurial mental health. And Miriam, I'm going to go ahead and make you the host or co-host. I guess I'll just make you the host. It's easier. And then when you're done and we're ready to switch, you can just make Johnny the host.
Okay.
All right.
It's like I'm running I've got a little bit of a lag on my end, but hi everyone. It's fantastic to be here. My name is Miriam. I'm the founder of Hebor, and QUOKA, anonymous text messaging for founder and entrepreneur mental health, is the first digital product that I'm bringing to market. Here's why. 1/3 of founders are clinically depressed, and entrepreneurs in the United States also suffer from a higher rate of suicide compared to other groups. I believe that entrepreneurs are some of the brightest minds that our world has, and our world needs them to be in the best mental shape possible in order to achieve our full potential. When I first started giving this presentation, I used to use the example of Robert, a customer that I had made up. But after working on bringing this product to market, I've started to realize how much I need QUOKA for myself. I'm a founder, and I struggle to be present on all social media platforms. In the last 6 years since I left my 9-to-5, I've been working on making my dreams a reality. I'm motivated, creative, well-connected, and I'm doing my best, to do it all, but that comes with real human needs and challenges, and I'm not alone. In this digital age, founders are under an extreme amount of pressure, regardless of age, sex, whether they're solo, leading a team, doing this for the first time, or years into the journey. I feel like we're leaders in our community as entrepreneurs and in our organizations, and we have this pressure to live these public lives and be active on multiple channels and always appear to look like we know what we're doing, which, let's be honest, we don't always know what we're doing. So even though I have all of these really great things, being connected, I have mentors and advisors that I can talk to, these do require a big time commitment of mental energy, as well as just minutes out of the day. And I know that I need to learn new things. I'm one of the lucky ones. I have practices in my toolbox that help support my mental health. And I understand that my success requires me to be happy, healthy, and well. And when I'm not happy, healthy, and well, it's really not good for me. It's not good for my team and others around me. And this causes further anxiety because I do care about other people. QUOKA is what I'm starting to call more of like a brave space. It is completely anonymous. It's a place that founders can come that desire to achieve a state actualization. Through QUOKA, they can express themselves, help others, get support from a networking community that understand them, resulting in them feeling understood, listened to, and productive. Plus, it doesn't require a huge time or mental commitment. It's very easy to use. Here are some of our core features. The community is comprised of like-minded people. All interactions are anonymous. So no matter what you say, you never risk feeling stupid, being exposed, feeling judged. All communication is done through text message, so you don't get sucked into an endless stream of other distractions like other social platforms. And lastly, learning. Our website of resources curated by the community and from a thoroughly vetted ambassador program. I want to make sure that people understand that QUOKA is not therapy, nor is it an app like Calm. All conversations do take place through text message, creating a custom thread for each user. Sign up happens through text message. They enter a code, they choose an anonymous handle, and then they set preferences, which segments them into different groups. It should be noted as well that right now, about 8 people out of the 45 members that I have are categorized as at risk, but that number just grows as more people come on. Once the member joins the club, they're able to send messages through QUOKA. So QUOKA looks at the message, makes sure that it gets routed appropriately and sent out according to the member's preferences. And then from there, if it's spam, it doesn't get through. If it's okay for some people, it goes to them. If it's okay for everyone, it goes for them. If it's concerning, it does get flagged, of course. And once a member receives a message, they can then choose to engage as little or as much as they want. No reply is ever required through QUOKA. You don't feel like you have to always be giving to the community in that way. I like to say that it's totally okay if you ghost QUOKA, but QUOKA will never ghost you. I believe that now is the time for a solution like QUOKA. Founders were struggling before, and now after the pandemic, the need is only going to grow. I ran several beta test groups, and based on the feedback that I'm continuing to gather, I'm making changes and making my MVP available to the public. I also want to make it clear that I identify as an artist. I'm also an entrepreneur, and it warms my heart seeing the difference that QUOKA makes in people's lives. As a millennial who's always had technology in her life, I feel that the apps we use are not always created to support our humanity, and things have really gotten out of control. I'm committed to solving this problem and building from a people-first perspective. Furthermore, as a serial entrepreneur and a community builder, I'm the perfect person to bring QUOKA to market. My marketing strategy is to turn my user research into a podcast, leverage my existing communities, and form strategic partnerships. And of course, I'm building in public, which has been wild to say the least. I'm focused on expanding the user base by piloting a B2B model for boot camps, accelerators, and incubators. And my current goals are to determine my customer acquisition and burn rate, complete the user research, deploy the B2B program, and I'm started to explore synergies with investors for the future. It's completely free to get started using QUOKA right now. I did have a paid membership at one point with private beta tests, which went well, but it did feel very out of alignment to remove people from a platform if they couldn't pay when they had opted in asking for help. I also lost all of the data when I unsubscribed them. So after removing 10 users, I decided that since I'm learning a lot from having users on the platform and it's not a huge cost for me to do that, I'm just making it free and exploring the B2B model, meaning that any founder can start using QUOKA today. I am really excited to be here. These are the different ways that you can support me. I'm looking for advisors. You can invite me to speak about the topics that I've raised today, connect me with different program leaders that might be a good fit for my pilot program, and of course, follow my story. Thank you so much. I'm excited to take your questions.
Yeah, first of all, thank you for keeping an eye on the time. I could tell that, I mean, you're obviously a 1 million cups organizer, so you're very familiar with the format. I left that part out in my introduction to everybody earlier, that the presenter gets 6 minutes followed by up to 20 minutes of Q&A. So that was honestly the perfect presentation. I mean, your slides are beautiful. You covered absolutely everything that we could need to know about it, including yourself and your market strategy. The only thing you mentioned at the end about people having the ability to join for free, and then there's a paid model, but you didn't share anything about what that looks like. So what is your revenue? You plan on making money?
Yeah, thank you so much for that question. I appreciate it. I started off with one of my earlier beta groups, and it was like, or beta MVPs, I should say. I don't know. I'm not really great with the startup terminology of stuff, but it was an earlier version. I was testing out having it a paid membership, and I learned a lot from that experience. I was already thinking about like, well, I don't really want to sell directly to founders. I want to go B2B. I want to sell to accelerators, incubators, boot camps, community organizations that support groups of entrepreneurs, because I want to really expand quickly in that way. So I was already looking at that. My conversion rate was good, but I mean, I was sharing it on my own social media. I wasn't running ads or anything. So it was a lot of people that probably just support me because I'm me. And I feel like that's why they were buying the membership. But there were some people that after the free trial was over, because it was like try it free for 7 days, and then we would ask them to start paying for it. And there was people that did not convert over, and it was like gut wrenching to like hit the button, like remove from program. And I was just like, oh my God, especially if they were actively participating. And I think about those people all the time. It was like 10 users that I don't know who they are because it's anonymous and they're just out there. And I'm just like, I don't know, like, are they okay? Like, so it felt very out of alignment. I also lost all the data from the back end when I unsubscribed them. I could no longer read their text thread. And I was learning so much from just like, what kind of messages do users want to send? How do they want to use QUOKA? What kind of conversations do they want to have? And all of that information is going to power the AI in the future. I really need that. I really need all that data. I really need users on my platform. I don't care if they're paying or not right now. I'm so early stage. I just need to understand who they are, what their needs are. And the only way that I can do that is by having them use it. So it didn't make any sense for me to do that.
So for the time being, you're not really concerned about charging anybody for a membership to see where you go. Is your goal to still reach out to like entrepreneurial community organizations versus just independent entrepreneurs?
Exactly. Right. So that is the B2B model for revenue that I'm exploring. We're nothing finalized, but I'm in talks with the university. And then the idea is to pilot QUOKA with their entrepreneur they have like an entrepreneur academy within the university. And so then we would be able to come up with some measurement points and do a pilot program with them, and then measure the results, which I'm sure will be amazing. And we'll be able to say, hey, QUOKA made this big of a difference on these pilot program candidates. And so then go out to other similar programs and make sure that they support their entrepreneurs with their mental health. I mean, there is a lot of program, like there's investors groups, there's the university route, there's incubators, there's accelerators, boot camps, like that whole thing. There's community organizations, and everybody's now aware, I think, of how important mental health is to everybody. It's so important. So that's the route that I would like to go. But I also need to understand a lot about how these programs make money, what's important to them, what are they driving. One thing that I found very interesting as I've been doing the interviews with these leaders of these organizations is that a lot of them don't measure the mental health of the entrepreneurs in their programs. And no shade, but like, that's just not okay.
I was actually leading, in my mind, I was leading there. Like I don't know who in any organization is responsible for that. Is it HR, or is it something that most businesses just ignore? They just don't pay attention. They don't have any infrastructure in place to monitor or support the mental health of their employees.
Yeah.
Let alone, in a community of entrepreneurs where people are literally scrounging to figure things out and working 24/7, 365 because they think they have to. If they're burned out and exhausted and they just don't know who to talk to or where to go. So I mean, I've never been a part of any organization where anybody has been anybody accountable. Keep them in check.
Some investors I've come across do actually even pay, as part of their investment, they pay for a therapist for their entrepreneurs. Some groups of incubators have programs where they offer, meditation, yoga. They send articles and things like that. The challenge is that the conversation, a lot of the, if a founder comes in and they don't realize yet that it's really beneficial to be vulnerable and talk about your challenges, and people do want to help you. And if they don't want to help you and you get a negative response from those interactions, you should just eliminate those people from your life anyway. And that's my opinion. But if they don't realize that, they won't ask questions that are really important for them to know. They won't have conversations. They'll because there's this pressure to look like you know what you're doing. You know, even if you're in a program that's meant to teach you what to do. Because even just it's human nature, the way that we ask questions, and we want to put people under pressure in those environments because we know we want to prepare them for what's coming. It's a hard thing to do. So it ends up just being very tense of an experience. And so QUOKA can help people get knowledge, get answers, get comfortable, and then hopefully we'll get to a place in the future where people can just share what they're struggling with openly without fear of judgment or feeling stupid or, you know.
I mean, can you imagine how much more successful people would be if they just shared what their struggles were and actually asked for help?
I mean, I've thought about that a lot. I don't know. I think it definitely has to be kind of like a slow transition. I think I see a lot more with like Gen Z is very more open about it. But then you still see tons of TikToks every day where like millennials and above make fun of them for doing that. Like, oh, you need time off work for a mental health day. And it becomes like this huge joke, you know, on social media. Because we're just not familiar. We don't have the education with how to support people. So if your friend comes to you and they're like, hey, I'm struggling, a lot of us are not comfortable. What do we do? What do we say? You know, so I stand for trainings and things like that, like the suicide prevention training programs and education. Like, even like if we could snap our fingers and do that, you know, Jason, imagine what the world would be, because like a lot of us are not prepared also for those.
I was going to share.
They're deciding to do some work right outside the room here. So I don't know if you can hear them, but they're up on a ladder right outside the door.
Question I had is, it seems to me that one of the strengths of this platform is that when people are talking with other people, they're talking with people who share similar types of experiences or burdens or struggles. And that's what's going to, you know, because entrepreneurs talking to other entrepreneurs, they can relate to each other. I mean, is that correct?
That's crazy.
Well, just to finish my thought, I'm not sure if she can hear me. We lost her. Should I wait?
Yeah, and she won't be able to give us any feedback on it.
Just, I'll do it for the broadcast. The thought I had was, you know, is it limiting to just a segment of entrepreneurs? Because I see, she's back. Give her a second. Lost you.
Hi. I don't know. I got kicked out of the meeting, so I joined from my phone.
That's strange.
Did you hear the first part of what I was saying, or should I just repeat the whole thing?
Please repeat that. Yes, I didn't hear any of that.
Totally fine. So the strength of the platform is that when entrepreneurs are talking to other entrepreneurs, it's, you know, like if Jason and I just happen to be talking on this platform with one another, you know, we can relate to one another's struggles and, you know, problems and burdens that we carry, which I think would kind of make it, that is part of the point of, you know, how this is structured. Is that correct, Miriam? Just
Exactly.
being able to talk to them. So,
yeah, you would be able to talk to each other, but you wouldn't know you're talking to each other.
so the thought was, it's just, you know, is it limiting to just having a segment for entrepreneurs? I still, and I do believe that, you know, entrepreneurs should be talking to one another, but I see potential for opening it up to other segments of workforces. And the idea would be to kind of continue on with keeping different segments of people who understand each other's burdens and problems, and not just entrepreneurs, because I mean, we know that the subject of mental health goes far beyond just entrepreneurs, and this is your passion, but you might have a lot more ability to kind of market this with, you know, just kind of the population of whole, with finding different ways to segment different populations. That way people talk to each other can relate. Like, for example, I see a huge potential for this with even like medical. You know, I've talked to a lot of nurses recently, and, you know, we all know what nurses have gone through over the last couple of years, but could you imagine if nurses had the ability to kind of utilize this, being able to kind of, you know, just share with one another, because oftentimes, you know, they're working like 12, 14, 16-hour shifts. Part of the problem is they don't even have a chance to talk to people to be able to share, but they could be on the job, you just, you know. So anyway, my thought was just about opening it up to a greater market share than just entrepreneurs.
Well, what's really interesting to me is that Johnny is up next, and his company is called Coke Notes, and they use daily text messages that combine peer support and positive psychology to improve mental and emotional health for individuals, families, groups, and communities worldwide. So it seems to me that what Miriam is doing is very focused in the entrepreneurial world, which is the world that I primarily live in. So I was immediately attracted to your audience, right? And then Johnny, this is going to be your window to, you know, into your world to tell us about how your app or your system does what it does and who it attracts. I have a feeling that what John was just saying is directed, like is perfect for you, right? Is that like the perfect segue?
I'm just excited that we're presenting on the same day. That's very cool. Definitely a lot of synergy there, and it'll be cool, I think, for the folks who are attending to hear the difference, because a lot of people will lump something that Miriam does in with Coke Notes, in with BetterHelp, and with Talkspace, and they kind of have this very narrow view of like what the mental health landscape looks like, and they figure, well, it's probably all the same thing. It's really not. So I'm excited to be able to present the same day as something that is truly different from what Coke Notes does, so people listening can kind of get an idea of how varied and broad some of the applications for this type of technology really are.
I love it. Well, before we officially switch over to you, because I believe I have to make you the host, I do want to say to Miriam, thank you so much for being here with us today and being willing to present, even though we're such a small group. I think you've got something great, and who you are really shines through in this. And I just met you, so it speaks a lot to you and your mission. So congratulations for that.
Thank you for having me. Can you remind me of your name, the gentleman that's sitting behind Jason? Alex?
It's John.
John. Okay, great. Let's connect.
Sounds good. Thank you again.
All right, Johnny, you should be the host then.
Well, thank you, Miriam, for setting the stage. That was awesome. I also should say I do have a hard out at a few minutes before the hour because I'm leading a training. So I will try to be as swift as possible, and we'll try to keep Q&A. I'll try not to ramble. But as I do my screen share, I did want to mention my name is Johnny, and I am the founder and CEO of Coke Notes. And if you're not familiar with me as some kind of prominent doctor, that's because I'm not one. I was in and out of treatment for my entire life, and really I wound up going to school for psychology and working in peer support and public advocacy because of my own firsthand lived experience with mental illness, multiple diagnoses, medicated, years and years of therapy and treatment. So if there's anything I'm intimately familiar with, it is the sheer frustration that someone can experience when they're being like passed around from option to option and really not finding anything that fits well for them. So Coke Notes provides daily mental health support on a very high level. And if someone asks you, well, how do they do that? We say we use text messages to improve mental and emotional health. And earlier, Jason said, how does your app, I'm sorry, service or system or whatever? And I love that you corrected yourself, because Cope Notes is not an app. There is nothing to download. It's all via SMS or text message. And very quickly, just the problem in the mental health ecosystem right now, if you're not super familiar, there are people like me in the center. So some people have multiple diagnoses like myself, some people have no diagnoses. But there are tons of people who are interested in improving their own mental and emotional health, but we are concerned about accessibility or privacy or social stigma. And if you were to give us a list of resources, especially me when I was first learning about what resources were available, I would give you a list of excuses as to why I didn't want to use it. So it's not necessarily making resources available. There's also a cultural element and a barrier to access or barrier to entry element that needs to be addressed. And by the time people like me actually work up the courage to reach out to any sort of resource or provider, it takes the average person 10 years between onset of symptoms and actual engagement with care. So after 10 years of working up the courage to finally reach out to a provider on the left, providers say, oh, you can get in line and we'll help you as soon as we can because we're underfunded, we're understaffed, we don't have people or money. Or you can hop over to the right and get in the crisis line in front of people who are in real danger and clog that up. So the whole system is kind of like at a breaking point and has been for quite a while. And it leaves communities to react to crises rather than prevent them in the first place. A lot of people ask why Cope Notes is not an app. There are a few obvious reasons, like you don't have to download anything, you don't need to remember passwords or no software updates, you don't share your personal data with the App Store or the Google Play Store, which is always nice. But the main reasons that we chose SMS are engagement, preference, and equity. So on the engagement side, SMS boasts a 25 times higher open rate than app notifications, between 25 and 50 times more effective at actually being read. So on an engagement level, no contest. In terms of preference, a lot of folks will say, well, that's nice for youth, but what about us mature adults? And actually 97% of American adults prefer texting to any other medium. So it's true across age demographic, which a lot of people are surprised by. But the equity component is really compelling. Not only are there 2.5 billion people worldwide that don't use smartphones, so couldn't download an app if they wanted to, but there are 11% of the US population, tens of millions of Americans rely on non-smart cell phones. So I didn't like the idea of building something that would leave tens of millions of Americans without a resource. So how Cope Notes does what we do is actually very different from what Miriam presented. We use peer support and positive psychology to train the brain to think in healthier patterns. So by peer support, we mean that every message is written by a peer with lived experience. So this is someone speaking about their firsthand, what they wish someone would have said to them when they were going through something difficult. That's what they're writing about. And all of the messages are really short and easy to understand, 160 characters or less. So there's not a bunch of clinical jargon in it, but it is reviewed by a clinical oversight panel of mental health professionals that make sure that all of the exercises and journaling prompts and psychology facts are actually legit and based on proven psychological principles. Then no two people ever get the same text at the same time. And you never know when we will text you or what it will say. But you do know that those texts are designed to interrupt negative thought patterns in real time and train the brain to think in healthier patterns. And then you can choose whether or not you want to journal back and speak freely, vent and say whatever you want. And the reason why people feel safe doing that is because, much like what Miriam presented, Cope Notes is both anonymous and confidential. So you don't have to give your name, your address, or anything like that. I'm going to make short work of this slide in the interest of time, but I literally gave a TED talk about the neuroscience behind Cope Notes. That's how much I care about this stuff. I'm a huge neuroscience nerd. Essentially, what we're doing is providing ecological momentary interventions, or EMIs. And that's a fancy way of saying that we are interrupting negative thought patterns with a catalyst for positive thought. And over time, that changes your neural pathways and helps your brain prioritize positive thought and challenge negative thought. It is truly fascinating. I'd love to talk about it during Q&A. Oh, and on this slide, it says the first set it and forget it mental health resource. We are all about ease of use. So the hardest choice you'll ever have to make is pressing submit when you type your phone number in on our website. Everything after that, we can handle and walk you through. We have 3 different subscription tiers. The personal subscriptions is how we started out. So it was just B2C. Then we started getting gift and family subscription requests. So we built that out. But around 80+% of our revenue comes from the enterprise side. So we work with schools and districts, businesses, governments, hospitals. That was not part of my initial vision, but it is where the greatest need has been, and we're all about meeting that need. A really cool thing about Coke Notes is that whether you are purchasing for yourself or a friend or family member, or whether you are an organization that is purchasing for, you're a county government that's purchasing for thousands and thousands of residents, no single subscription is ever going to cost more than 1 therapy session. So a full year of Coke Notes is going to be right around 10-ish, 9-ish bucks a month based on your preferences, which is astronomically more affordable than like 99% of other digital behavioral health resources out there right now. It's a very overpriced market, and we wanted to make sure that we were very competitively priced. Impact, I'm going to keep this short as well, but we have lots of great partners, Mental Health America, NAMI, the Crisis Center. We have reviews on our website that I'm going to skip in the interest of time, but we have collected mountains of data. We've served around 22,000 users in 95 countries so far. We've sent 1.2 million text messages, and through self-reported efficacy data, measuring customer satisfaction, what works and doesn't work, we found that 86% of those 21,000, 22,000 users have reported improved mental health within 30 days. So I am passionate about this because I lived through it, but I'm also passionate about it because I know that it works. So we want to get this into the hands of as many people as possible. I think I'm right at 6 minutes. So I want to like stop and jump to Q&A while we have time.
You're doing great. And again, I have to say, absolutely beautiful presentation. The slides are gorgeous. They're clear to read and understand, and your passion is also is equally as clear. We do have another guest in the room. His name is also John. He works for a nonprofit that helps people through. You can introduce yourself to like really quickly, but this is more for us to give them feedback. Unfortunately, you walked in towards the end, so I will highly suggest that he watch your presentation in full afterwards. But you want to lead with questions? Because I feel like I cut you off with your question because I thought it was a good segue. You think, like, is this the answer to what you were questioning on your end? Because his enterprise level is meant for like hospitals or universities or what, like
We work with a ton of nonprofits.
Sorry.
We do a ton of nonprofit work too. Like they'll write us into grants and stuff to provide it to the communities that they serve.
It's incredibly affordable, that's for sure. That's amazing. But just John won his idea about like peer-to-peer for like nurses to be able to communicate with each other, to support each other through this crazy, unprecedented time. I feel like Coke Notes is kind of that platform where they would have the ability to, to do that.
What we were originally looking at doing is peer-to-peer, like direct, like a peer texts a peer in real time. That kind of thing has been tried at scale, and what I've seen, it has tremendous liability, tremendous quality control issues, and some pretty serious legal ramifications. So we opted to just having a peer created library. So we're not actually having like one peer text one peer in real time, because that would be really difficult to scale infinitely. We have a text library that has been created and curated by peers with lived experience. And then we use scripts and algorithms to actually do the delivery of the messages, which is why we can send and deliver and receive thousands and thousands of messages every day without having to worry about who's saying what to who. In terms of infinite scalability and the legal aspect alone, it was kind of the only decision we could make if we wanted to scale.
Does everyone receive the same text message who's signed up?
Nope. That's one of my favorite parts of Coke Notes is that if we both sign up at the exact same moment, we'll never get the same text at the same time. So I never know what you get, you never know what I get. It's a really unique experience, especially when we have like a family get it and like no two family members have the same experience and they're like, what would you get today? That's so cool.
That would encourage multiple people in the family to do that, just because they're all receiving the same one. You know, it'd be kind of yeah, totally.
We do have a synchronized option for families and like support groups. So if someone's saying, hey, I have 15 people in my support group, I want everybody to get the same text at the same time. It's just a checkbox. And when you click that checkbox, there's like one text for the group every day. But if you click randomize instead, then everybody gets different stuff every day.
It's really cool. From a technology standpoint, I'm actually really interested in talking to both of you on how you executed this. I just lost an opportunity to build an actual app for somebody that had it was basically a Q&A. I can't get into the details of what it was, but it was basically a live Q&A for legal, in the legal world. But I had my own vision of how we would build it out and make it happen. But it's pretty cool. So I just, from a tech standpoint, I'm curious as to how you sort of built the AI to learn what to send to who and when, but like what platforms you're using it to send it out, and what the like model is for the cost there too, right? I'm just interested in that stuff. We can certainly connect with you. You said you're coming to Atlanta in a couple of weeks.
I'm hoping so. One of my best friends lives just outside of Atlanta, and I haven't visited him since the before times. So I'm hoping that everything is clear enough for me to go up and visit. It's been a while.
There's a new mask mandate in Atlanta now, so anywhere you go, you're gonna have to be covered up.
Heard that.
If now is the right time, but if you do make it up here, keep me in mind. I'd
Definitely
grab whatever coffee. Well, I have to say, I mean, for both of you guys, normally our presenters, even though we vet them and help as much as we can to coach them through, the presentations generally require a lot more feedback and I have a lot more questions. But both of your presentations were so solid that I mean, I don't really have,
Right,
there's no holes. Like I don't know what questions I have to ask you because everything is so perfectly explained. That's
I
really,
kind of want to just hear what happens next. Like, so, just kind of like, there's not, don't really have to work in the presentations. Like Jason said, I'm not left with any questions. I'm just, which means
Yeah.
that they're doing their job.
right. The one question that we're supposed to ask as 1 Million Cups community is what can we as our community do for you? So I know Miriam had laid that out very nicely, but Johnny, is there anything that you would like from us that we can help you with?
Yeah, so Coke Notes is a bootstrapped startup. So every hire we've made has been with revenue, which extremely limits our, we don't have like 40 employees, right? We have a handful of employees. Some are full-time, some are part-time, some are contract. And we don't have like a massive marketing or advertising budget. So all of the actual revenue that we've done and all of the, I would say, majority of the B2B and B2C business that we've done so far that has allowed us to make these hires has been through word of mouth or press. So I guess my ask is if you have any relationships with any like podcasts or local news channels or newspapers or blogs or websites, anything like that might want to do like an interview or a feature to help us get the word out, that would be awesome because we don't really have that advertising or marketing budget that some of our competitors might if they raise money. But the other thing I would ask is, all of you live in a different market than me. So like I might be fairly intimately familiar with some of the mental health organizations here in Tampa, but I'm not super familiar with Atlanta. So if you're like, oh, I work with a foster youth organization, or my aunt is friends with someone who works at a veterans organization or something like that. Basically, I'm saying, a potential Coke Notes partner right now that I've never even heard of. I've never been to their website. I've never heard their name.
3 categories that I know somebody in each one of. So I mean, absolutely more than happy to connect you. Eden project. I mean, like all the categories you just mentioned, I can definitely make a connection to you. That'd be my pleasure.
That'd be incredible. Because the worst thing that happens, I've said this before at a 1 million cups, but my mentor, this was before I ran a beta version. So Cope Notes has been in revenue for about 4 years. Before Cope Notes, I ran a beta version called Not a Therapist for about a year, and I learned a lot of lessons. And in that venture, I was meeting with a mentor, and he said, if anyone ever offers to give you $1 million or an email introduction, take the email introduction, because you never know what will come from that. So if you have $1 million, I will take it. Assuming that you don't, the email introduction would be invaluable, because you truly never know. Some of our biggest, actually our single biggest government contract we ever closed was due to an email introduction. It changed the whole course of Cope Notes. It opened up a whole new vertical for us. And it's where we've done a majority of our revenues with city and county governments. And we never would have done that if that person said, he should meet with Julia, but it's not a big deal. Like, it is a big deal. Please introduce me.
Advice. And I'm more than happy to end your business podcast with the third. So there's 3 right off the top of my head that I'd love to make that introduction. So yeah, I'd be happy to do that. And I know you said you're going to have to bounce, so I don't want to keep you from what's next. I had only reserved the room from 8 to 9. We're approaching that hour now, but if you do have anything else either of you would like to say, or Amanda or you, John, if there's any other questions, I just say now's the time before we wrap up.
I really enjoyed the presentation, Johnny. It was fantastic.
Thank you a ton. It was so cool. Yeah, so people don't know that she and I had like a LinkedIn exchange before,
Awesome.
and we're talking about Miami. So very small world. I was going to mention, if anybody has any interest in like trying Cope Notes and just seeing what it is all about, if you want to just put your phone number in the chat, in the Zoom chat, I'd be happy to enter it into our like back end for a week so you can see what the messages are like. I have no problem doing that.
I love that. I'd have to ask you to offer it a different way though, because there's really only 4 of us on the Zoom. We're being broadcast live on Facebook, but I don't think people are going to put their information in on Facebook. So maybe you could comment on Facebook and say, DM me, or we could drop an email address for people to send it to, something like that.
Yeah. So Johnny@copenotes.com, JOHNNY at copenotes.com. If you're like, hey, I saw the presentation, I want to give it a shot, here's my phone number, I'll add it. You don't need to give me any other information. You don't need to pay me anything. It's just a way to show people what we're working on.
Great. Yeah. So for anybody listening, I will type out that email address in the Facebook notes. Just mention 1 million cups, Atlanta South, and Johnny will hook you up.
I think it'd also be great, like, if you guys are on the Facebook, if you could drop your social channels, just because Miriam, I looked up, I looked you up, I couldn't find you.
She's on Instagram and Twitter. I learned this earlier, but not Facebook or LinkedIn, which is why I had trouble, because I was trying to share on both of those networks. I'm like, I can't find you.
On Instagram and Twitter, illiterate.
Yeah.
And TikTok.
I love TikTok. I'm on the TikTok.
Me too. I love TikTok.
I
LinkedIn
enjoyed-
and Facebook. I'm there too, in the shadows.
I'll find you personally on LinkedIn at the very least. But
Even just a website, because I couldn't find a website, and I think it'd be great, just so if people are interested, they can kind of check out the website and social channels.
We'll definitely post them.
awesome. Well, you guys, thank you so much for applying to present at Atlanta South 1 million cups. And I feel obligated to apologize for not having a larger audience here, but as I explained, we're building, and I'm excited for what's to come. I hope you'll come back again in the future and give us at least an update on how things are going for you, if not just, present again when we're a little bit larger. But really, I appreciate your time. It was very inspirational for me at least, and I hope you guys got something out of it.
Great.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you, guys.
Great day.
Bye.